don't have any money problems or that I'm not, struggling in any way. I think a lot of us are right now, and that's kind of why I wanted to open up this conversation. Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you're all doing really well. Today's video is going to be about the big dirty word, money. So in all honesty, I haven't always had the best relationship with money. And what I'm finding is that a lot of the struggles that I'm really working through right now are the result of sometimes big and sometimes small, usually well-intended, but either way, poor money decisions. And so I'm really looking to deep dive into my finances, understand the way that I think about money and also the way that I act about money, putting those together to change my freaking life. Money is one of those hot topics, and it's something that we don't share a lot. I think it has a lot to do with our sense of self-worth and who we are and how other people perceive us. So I'm really going to try and push through my own ego when it comes to money and just try and be a little bit more vulnerable in sharing with you guys my struggles and just the actions that I'm taking to turn it around, because I know that I'm not the only one who's in this predicament. So first I want to start with mindset, because as we know, everything begins in the mind first. Literally everything starts with our thoughts. And you may want to argue this intuitively with me, but just think about a bicycle, a bed, the couch you're sitting on. Literally everything that we utilize in our day-to-day started in the mind. Somebody had to have a real belief that they can create electricity, or that, hey, maybe we can fly, when everybody thinks that you're insane. And so when we really look at our mindset, I think that's a very good indicator of why we are in our current circumstances. And so when I look at growing up, I had an amazing childhood, don't get me wrong, but it was definitely one with a lack mentality, a mindset where you have to work super hard in order to make good money. It doesn't come by easily. People who have a lot of it are probably not good people, and they probably did bad things to get there. And so when you have these types of scripts happening around you and you're not consciously aware of it, that kind of starts to seep into your inner dialogue. And so then when it comes to wanting to create a lot of money, which I do, and I can now say that and feel comfortable saying that, but I think what happens is, in thinking I want to make a lot of money, but then having this subconscious script saying people with a lot of money are bad, it doesn't really connect. And so you feel bad for wanting it, and then you're not going to think that it's possible. And it just, you can see how these kind of all start to stack on top of one another. And I know that I'm not the only one who's had this experience. I think that the cool part of being in business and starting to see how things are shifting is just the belief in myself, where I'm like, holy crap, I can make money that way, I can make money that way, I can make money that way. I do have a business mindset, which my whole life I grew up being I don't have a sales brain, I don't have a business mindset, that's not in the cards for me. I just completely shut that off. Okay, so now that we understand our mindset and how it's messing us up in terms of money, let's look into creating an action plan in order to change all of that. So subconsciously working with things like tapping, meditation, doing visualization practices, that kind of thing. Then on the conscious side, I really want to work on my money literacy. I just don't understand RRSPs and TFSAs and all of these different investments. I have no idea what the stock market, all of those gibberish things are all about. So you kind of have to understand the ABCs in order to get you to your goal. So I'm going back to the fundamentals of money. Of course, then there are just simple actions like making a budget. And I've been very realistic with my budget. I went through and took off a ton of things that I felt were needs but were not needs. Recently, I actually just took my insurance on my vehicle down to theft and fire, because in the quarantine, I literally drove my car once in a month and a half, looking at things like bank fees and different rates. That's something I've never compared my bank to another bank to see how things kind of pan out. So getting really tough with yourself, having that hard conversation in the mirror, and trust me, I did that. I think that a lot of us, and especially right now, have this need to keep up with the Joneses. And so for me as a new business owner, I have to understand that there's a certain reality to the first couple years in business, which is probably going to mean that I'm not going to be keeping up with the Joneses, maybe not right away, and I don't want to limit myself, but I do want to be realistic. To help me make better money decisions, I've created this kind of weird little game for myself, and it's a way of rewarding myself for making better money decisions instead of it feeling like a punishment. So what I do is, say for example, I really wanted that $5 Starbucks coffee today and I just had to have it. Well, if I do decide that, you know what, I don't need it, I'm gonna save it for another special day, then I will take that $5 allotment, and I've been like keeping track and keeping kind of like a savings account, and I will pool all of that money of all of those purchases that I chose not to make, and I can take part of that fund and put it towards my debt, and then I'll take the other part of that and use that towards doing something fun for myself, or kind of like reinvesting it into my fun budget. This weird little money game also automatically implements two more really important concepts, which are delayed gratification, and that it's all in the little things. It's the little things that add up. It's delaying that gratification until you can actually afford it and then really enjoying it. Those sorts of concepts are things that I'm really trying to understand and just have a little bit more self-reflection on. And then the other part of this game is that anytime I do make a payment towards my Visa, so taking that coffee again, I'll round it up to the nearest dollar and then keep track of those like extra payments that I'm making towards my credit card. So I can see that, say at the end of the month, that all added up to like an extra $30 or something. And you just get that gratification of like, oh my God, like 20 cents here and there really does add up. And it also adds up the other way in terms of getting you into a negative situation when it comes to money. I spent so much time in my adult life pinching pennies and trying to figure out where I can save and what I can do, instead of just trying to put that exact same effort and mentality into making more money. A big part of my financial plan and business plan is creating multiple sources of income. And I think we've probably heard about this concept a lot, but I think the average millionaire has like 7 sources of income, I think it is. And I'm really proud and excited. For the first time ever this month, I made money in my sleep, which has been, it's been a goal. Like that in itself has been a goal. So that's something that I'm looking at in the offers that I create within my business. And I am starting to try and create more types of income where I don't physically have to be trading my time in order to make money. And so maybe that's something that you can start to brainstorm for yourselves. Like, what is an opportunity of some passive or a secondary source of income for you if you are looking to turn around your finances in a big way? Now, to be totally real, I've honestly had a couple of really down days. So I bought my first financial book, which was called The Wealthy Barber. It's a really good book. In doing that, it was definitely a big reality check, and it was heavy, if I'm to be totally honest. Like, to set myself up for the future and for retirement, to pay off all of my debt and to live the way that I want to, it feels like a really big feat right now, and I'm trying to stay positive. I just want to share that feeling because I know how daunting it is and how scary it is, and just there's so much shame and guilt and just so much emotion tied to it. And like I said, I'm really working and really grinding to build my business, but I also don't want you guys to be thinking that I'm sitting here saying that I've reached a certain level, or that I don't have any money problems, or that I'm not, you know, struggling in any way. I think a lot of us are right now, and that's kind of why I wanted to open up this conversation. This was a bit of a tougher video to make. There was a lot of like facing my own reality and my own reality check in creating it. And so I hope that you enjoyed it and that we can be a little bit more transparent about these difficult conversations together. If you did like this video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you all in next week's video. Bye guys.